Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Sunday afternoon session with the World Yoga Festival. And this session is being recorded. Here I am. Spotlight video as well. We shall spotlight Sridharan ji at the moment shortly. So let me introduce you. Sri Sridharan, I first met about 4 years ago now. And I went to Chennai and to invite him personally. He was at that time the head of the KYM Institute in Chennai, and I'd never met him before. We had a mutual friend who introduced us, and he was immediate in his response to say, of course, I'll come in and be part of your first ever World Yoga Festival. So he came with a couple of other people, and it was wonderful. It really was wonderful. He's been a staunch supporter of us ever since. He's got really a huge amount of experience, about 40 years of experience in all aspects of therapeutic yoga. Pranayama is a specialist subject of his. And I have to say, in all the time that I've been looking, I've yet to find a greater teacher of pranayama than Sridharan ji. So in our first year festival, when somebody came from Canada, their response after coming to his class was that I learned more in the first 15 minutes of that class than I've been doing in 15 years of pranayama training up till now. And it's just wonderful to have teachers of that quality come to us. He's recognized all over the world. He does, before the lockdown, he used to travel everywhere, teach in many, many places. And I don't know if you know, but the Prime Minister of India has set up a whole department of Ayush, looking at all of these different therapy techniques, the ancient wisdoms of India. And he's a member of those committees that govern Ayush and look at what they should be studying and where and things like this. So incredibly knowledgeable person, incredibly well known, and we have him here directly from his home in Chennai, where he's currently in lockdown. We managed to find him and got the internet. He's got very good internet connection, and he's decided for somebody in his 70s, I found him so amazingly techy. He said, hang on a minute, let me just show you a few slides. I can share my screen and go through PowerPoint. And I thought, oh my God, I hope I'm like that in a few years' time. So it's incredibly, incredibly nice, and we really appreciate his generous time. So without much ado, thank you very much indeed, Sridharan ji. Lovely to have you amongst us, and I shall leave it entirely to you. I shall stay and watch, but I will get rid of my video so nobody's distracted, and we'll come in with questions as and when they come up. We'll monitor the chat lines. If there's something really urgent, then we may interrupt you. Otherwise, probably you'll tell us whether you want to take questions at the end and how you want to organize this particular session. So welcome, Sri Sridharan ji. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks, Ram. Shall I have it as 60 minutes? In the end, 10 minutes question, 15 minutes of session.
Right.
Is that all right?
That's good, yeah.
Okay. Let me say the Indian way of Namaskar, because nowadays it has become the way of greeting. Nobody is expected to touch the other, and we cannot do that also, no. Now, before I start with the usual prayers, let me recall my association with Ram and Sonali. I want to thank them now at this time. A wonderful couple doing an excellent work in yoga. I am with yoga for the last 40 years, and these couple are very unique, this couple, and their way of doing and even their own festival is unique. I had the great luck to attend at least, I think, 2 or 3 times, yeah. And I really got benefited out of that experience. I really thank both Ram and Sonali to make me to come back and share some thoughts in this year of festival over Zoom. So this year festival is over Zoom. So I will go and talk for about 50 minutes from now and then leave for a 10 minutes of question answer and we will wind up. It is the usual way in yoga to start with prayer. So I will start with a prayer to Patanjali and Krishnamacharya, our Paramaguru, and Desikacharya, my teacher, and a small recitation, Vedic recitation, invoking all the divine forces to give us, bless us with good health. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena yopakarottam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi आबाहु पुरुषाकारं शङ्खचक्रा असिधारिणं सहस्रशिरसं श्वेतं प्रणमामि पतञ्जलिं श्रीमते अनन्ताय नागराजाय नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्णवागीश यतीश्वराभ्यां सम्प्राप्तचक्राङ्कणभाष्यसारं श्रीनूत्नरङ्गेन्द्र यतौ समर्पितस्वं श्रीकृष्णमार्यं गुरुवर्यमीडे विरोधे कार्तिके मासे शतताराकृतोदयं योगाचार्यं कृष्णमार्यं गुरुवर्यमहं भजे। कृष्णसूरीदयापात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणं श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्देहं योगदेशिकं। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। भद्रं कर्णिः विष्णुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः तुष्टुवागं सस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. The first prayer was on Patanjali, the Muni who gave us the Yoga Sutras, and which is the basic important text. And he is the considered as the foremost teacher in the yoga tradition, even though yoga traces its origin prior to Patanjali, according to Patanjali himself. The second is on Krishnamacharya, T. Krishnamacharya, Tirumala Krishnamacharya. If you want more to know about him, you can visit the website of Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram, KYM.org, in which we have given a lot of information. And he was the teacher of B.K.S. Iyengar, Patabi Joyce, Indira Devi, and Desikacharya. His Desikacharya is son and disciple, who is my teacher, with whom I learned for about 40 years. And we have an institution called Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram in Chennai, which is a public charitable trust established in 1974, which is doing an excellent service. It is considered as one of the 7 leading yoga institutes in the country, recognized by Ayush and others. With this brief introduction, the next prayer, after my prayer to my Guru Desikacharya, is a Vedic mantra which says, let us hear everything good, let us see everything good, auspicious. That's what the need of the hour. Let us get our organs, let us get the strength. Let the Lord, God Son, give us the strength. So there are a few divinities which are addressed. With this prayer, asking for Shanti, peace, 3 times, we are now going into the topic for the day. The topic for the day I chose, and Ram himself asked me to choose it, I said, okay, I will talk on pranayama because my first uh, sessions in the World Yoga Festival, first yoga festival, pranayama is the one I took, and there was some good response based on that Ram also suggested. Okay, what is, the way in which I have structured my talk is to talk about pranayama from basics actually, because I'm not aware of the background of all the people here. Some may be very advanced, some may be practicing for a long time, some may be teaching. Maybe there are others who are also completely new with interest. So let us make it a platform where we will start from basic, try to learn one or two techniques even. Now, let us turn our attention to the present situation, which the whole world is facing. Yep, the whole world is facing a situation of high stress, and the very speciality is, at least in the vicinity of the life experience of almost all of us, this type of a situation is the first and probably very unique, where there is a common enemy. There is only one enemy, common enemy, and it's a virus, and that is so subtle, nobody can even see it. So all the world, the whole forces have joined together, and we all are fighting together. That still has not been put down completely, even though it appears there is some sort of a hole that is coming up. This is a virus called coronavirus, COVID-19, and which, in fact, it has the same name everywhere. It basically affects the breathing system, particularly the upper respiratory system, starting from the throat. So, in the context of the pandemic, addressing the pandemic situation, pranayama itself takes the center role. That is why I told pranayama, for me as a topic, has two dimensions. One is my experience in the first yoga festival, and now the pandemic situation. Okay, pranayama, the Sanskrit word, what does it mean? It has two words joined together, prana plus ayama. Word meaning. Generally, whenever we get a Sanskrit word, we would like to know the meaning. Please don't worry about the Sanskrit words that I enter. I will immediately give the meaning in a very detailed way. Anyway, we will have to call pranayama as pranayama only, and calling it as a breathing exercise is inadequate. It is not. It is inadequate and incomplete. Not wrong. We are doing some breathing, yes, but it is not the normal breathing exercises that we are looking at, aerobics and all that. It's something much more than that. Like what the word pranayama means, prana plus ayama. That is how we have to break that. Prana, prana is prana. How do we understand? We are now talking, I am talking to you, you are hearing me, we are alive, it is because of prana. And we are alive, we live, we beat around, we do so many things. And for all that, it is that prana which is responsible. Basic life energy. It has, that prana has got two dimensions. One is macrocosm, another is microcosm. The prana is prevalent everywhere. It is there outside. It is there in every one of us. In fact, it is that prana which is outside takes care of all the living species. Wherever you see any living species, it is called, there is prana there. That is why they are called in Sanskrit, all the living species, including man, human beings are called as prani. That is because every one of us have got prana. Whether you take vegetation, animals, everyone has got the prana. Now, what is that to do with the pandemic situation? The pandemic situation is calling for one thing. They are saying there is no medicine now. In fact, vaccine is still to be found, tested and found. So, what is it they're saying? Please boost your immunity. And please boost your immunity. In fact, the test that is being done, whether one is affected by this virus, is to see whether the body has created the immune viruses, immune bacteria to come up. So that means the body started working. So there is, the immunity has started working, and then there should be some virus inside. Of course, they do more than 1 or 2 tests. Boosting the immunity is the need of the hour. How do we do that? Pranayama helps, because in yoga parlance, prana is the immunity. Prana is the immunity. Prana is equal to immunity. As long as I have good prana in me, good prana means the prana, there is no bad prana. Prana is good in the sense it is so well in my system that it does not dissipate at all. Does not dissipate, and it is well within the system. I'm going to tell you about why dissipate, how it will be made not to dissipate. So prana, first word, means life energy. Presently, it is what is required for us to keep our immunity in good position. The next is called ayama. This prana, ayama, has got 2 meanings. One is extend. Another is stop. Extend, stop. So prana in the system is made to be extended in a particular way, which we are going to see. And stop means to hold. Hold the prana within you. So techniques which are going to be seen by us, which are used to make the prana being in us in an extended way and holding in us, that is pranayama. Pranayama is to extend, hold prana. And this is just based on word meaning. We have got definitions. That is why I made a prayer to Patanjali. Patanjali gives large amount of definitions. 2, 3 sutras are there. We take the sutra and look at it. That pranayama itself is a part of Ashtanga Yoga. And that is why we are here in the Yoga Festival. In Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali, which is also found elsewhere in Puranas and other Vedic scriptures, has got 8 components: yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. As you can see, when I was giving that list, you get pranayama, and interestingly, pranayama comes in the middle. And pranayama is preceded by asana, yama, niyama and yama, and succeeded by pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. When something is in the middle, what does it indicate? It indicates that it is most important. Supposing you have a wall, and then the wall is built with bricks, and the middle brick is very more important, because if you remove the middle brick, the entire wall will collapse. Of course, the balance portion may be down below, but it may have no value. Similarly, pranayama is most important. It occupies a center position. And those which are prior to pranayama, the yama, niyama, and asana, they act as a preparation for pranayama. And what follows? Pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, together called dhyana, they will become more useful. The techniques itself will become more useful only when pranayama is done properly. So that is the importance of pranayama. Now, this pranayama is found in elsewhere as a technique. In all the Vedic rituals, pranayama forms an important position, because yoga traces its origin to Vedas, and Vedas are divided as karma kanda and jnana kanda. In the karma kanda, there are a lot of rituals. Even today, those rituals are being practiced. In India, there are yajnas, so many things are happening in India for the purpose of the health of people. And even in research findings show that these yajnas are all giving large amount of value. So any yajna, any Vedic ritual that is done has pranayama as the one important aspect. Why? That is because pranayama is the most or best part of the act of purification. When I want to purify and when I want to do purification from impurities, what do? I find that I have some impurity, in the sense I need to clean myself up, some dirt. Like in that case, we can take a bath at the level of our body. But the body is a gross part only. In fact, at home, if we find that today, cleaning is more important. We are supposed to clean our hands more than a few times again and again. So that's an activity of cleaning using water. Now, the human system, according to Vedas and yoga also follows that, is divided into two. One part is grass, which we are seeing. It is like the motherboard in a computer where everything is seen and it's working. But there are a lot of software inside, and if there is any problem in the software due to virus also there, similarly like a virus here, you get into difficulty. Everything is like it boots, power is coming in, suddenly it goes haywire. So there is a software like inside, and this is called a Sukshma Sarira. The Sukshma Sarira is which drives this Sthula Sarira. Sukshma Sarira can be called in English as causal body, or the body which is the cause of all the actions. Sthula Sarira is considered as the effect part of the body, that which executes all the actions. So there can be impurities in the Sukshma Sarira also. The Sukshma Sarira part can also be easily understood as the mind, senses and mind. Let us presently keep two parts in us. One is the body that we are seeing, which is made up of the gross elements, 5 gross elements: space, wind, fire, water, and earth. The subtle elements, which are also there outside, is in us, and they make up for the Sukshma. This Sukshma also, the Sukshma Sarira also, can have impurities. Sthula Sarira will certainly have impurities. The organs will have impurities. Even that impurities can be removed by pranayama. In fact, before I take up the definition of pranayama, let me tell you that in important texts such as Hatha Yoga Pratipika, even Yoga Sutra itself, they talk, when it comes to therapeutic angle of yoga, they talk about the importance of pranayama only. In fact, it is through pranayama that a lot of therapeutic aspects of yoga comes out. Now, there are extensive research which is being done in every one of the components of yoga. So pranayama, there are a lot of research papers are there. So asana, how do they help in the therapeutic angle? Dhyana, how they help? Yes, every one of the components independently and collectively, they work in the therapy. In fact, our system of therapy is very well known. We work only on a one-to-one basis. After a consultation, we devise a course for the individual, which will contain all the components: asana, pranayama, and dhyana, some chanting, Vedic chanting mantras, etc. But pranayama has a unique place even in therapy. If we take Hatha Yoga Pratipika, one of the important texts, it talks about, basically it gives an idea as to how a therapy can be looked into. There are more than one way of looking into the therapeutic aspect of yoga. But the one angle, because it is closer to Ayurveda, both have emanated from the same source, Vedas, and Ayurveda considers 3 doshas. As I told you just now, we are made up of the 5 gross elements, and in the 5 gross elements, the 3 gross elements which are very important are the wind, the fire and the water. The space along with wind joins together and make into one dosha. Dosha does not mean impurity. Dosha means an energy like. Now, this is called vata. The fire in us is called pitta. The water and the earth together is called kapha. These are the three, when the vitiation of which calls for the, or is the reason for illness. Vitiation, either excess or little. They should be equally balanced. Now, when it comes to yoga, they follow the same system. In fact, for a sutra, in yoga, those of you who know the Yoga Sutra may appreciate, there is a sutra in the 3rd chapter of the Vibhuti Pada. It says, Nabhi Chakre Kaya Vyuha Jnanam. When one does an intense meditation with the focus, intense focus on the navel region, then the person will be able to understand the vyuha of the body. Vyuha means arrangement. For that, the commentators and teachers are saying that the person gets an idea about how the vitiation of all these have taken place in the person, and they can gauge the illness. We have various ways of doing that. We even look at the pulse called nadi. So these three vitiations are put down. If there is an excess, it is put down basically. And that is done through pranayama. The pranayama techniques helps. For example, the Shitali, one type of pranayama, is supposed to be a pittahara. Then Ujjayi is kapahara. And Chandra Bedana, right side inhale, hold, left side exhale, it is called Vatahara. So that is the way that therapy is built around the pranayama. Now, what is, before I go further, let me quickly tell you the definition of pranayama itself. And this is very nicely put in the Yoga Sutra. What is pranayama? Because science will always say, please define this. So pranayama can be defined as tasmin sati swasa praswasayoho gati vichetaha pranayamaha. Pranayama is that when after, of course, after doing postures, taking advantage of the posture, tasmin sati, we will keep it separately, interfering with the unconscious pattern of breathing is pranayama. Gati, movement, swasa, prashwasa, inhale, exhale, movement of the inhalation, exhalation, vicheda, break or go inside. So, we are doing now, right now we are breathing. All of us are breathing. We breathe 24/7 till the last minute. That breathing is involuntary because it is life supporting. So we don't know whether we are inhaling, we don't know whether we are exhaling. So there is an unconscious pattern of breathing. And interfere into that and make it into conscious pattern of breathing. We become conscious of our breathing pattern itself. That is pranayama. Why not we make it immediately? Can I just sit down now and watch? You can try, but that doesn't come very easily because there is a link between the three, that is the breath and our body and our mind. In fact, it is the breath which links the body and the mind in us. Because of this, there is to understand the pattern itself will be very difficult because we need a particular state of mind of calmness. So, what is pranayama? Is to interfere into the unconscious pattern of breathing and make the breath as the conscious pattern of breathing. Now, breathing is involuntary. It is called Vega in Ayurveda. And now we are going to make voluntary breathing. Now we are not doing, we are breathing in now. Because I am talking and you are hearing, we won't be able to do anything. Supposing you decide to put your mind in your breathing, which is possible, you won't hear anything what I am talking about. It will be one sound only. And if I ask you, did you hear me? You say, no, I was now more involved with my breathing. So the moment we get into the breathing pattern, the mind also comes there, but we put the mind into that. Now I told you prana is different, and I am now started talking about breath. Is prana and breath one and the same? No. Breath involves the movement of the air. Breathing involves movement of the air. In fact, the next sutra says, Bahya Abhyantara Stamba Vrittihi Desha Kala Sankhyabihi Paridrishto Dirgha Sukshma. How to make this unconscious pattern of breathing into a conscious pattern, which is the breath becomes subtle, deep and long, Dirgha and Sukshma, which is pranayama. It says, please, you have got three components. One is bahya, you are sending the air outside, exhalation. Abhyantara, the air is coming in, watch, see, that is inhalation. Tamba, no movement, neither inhalation nor exhalation. And these are called as the components of breathing. And again, I have not answered the question of the link between what we are talking again and again as breath, breathing, and prana. Now, breath itself is not prana. Breath carries prana. Breath is the carrier of prana. Wind is the carrier of prana. How do I understand that? Okay, wind, particularly if you see wind by itself, it has neither no color, no form, and it has no smell for that matter. A wind does not have a smell by itself. Supposing you go to the garden, I find some of you have got some nice plants, maybe there are some good flowering plants, flowers are there. The moment you enter into the garden, where there are a large amount of flowers, and particularly sweet smelling flowers, you get sweet smell. The smell is carried into your nostril by the wind, and it just carries. The smell is carried by the wind. And if we go into another place where there are a lot of dirt, or there is an amount of water which flows with dirt, the moment you smell and you say, oh, this smell is not, the smell is bad smell. There is no bad wind or good wind. It is a bad smell or a good smell. The smell is caused by the wind. Similarly, the wind, which is responsible for us to take, is taking the prana in. That is why we called as the breath is called as the vehicle of prana. Breath is called as the vehicle of prana. It goes in. By itself, it is in the nature's law that the moment you inhale, you will get prana. And if there is good prana outside, you will get good prana inside. If the prana in any way has been made impure, that is why we are saying there is more of carbon monoxide in the air. It is not good. That prana part, the O2 part has come down also there. So the oxygen part has come down, and because of that, I am not able to tell you whether the O2 or O3 is directly equal to prana. I have no idea. But that which sustains us, if it is oxygen that is sustaining us, we can consider that to be the prana. Now, that is passed on by the air. So we breathe in, we are taking the prana in. When the moment we take the prana in, why should we breathe out? Because the job of the prana, of the breath, is to take the prana in. It is like you are taking something in to do a particular activity. It has done the activity of energizing. After that, the energy has gone into the body and it has done some work. And because of that, some impurities are brought out. The work is over and impurities are coming out. For that also, it is the same wind which is coming out from our system. And that is called as apana, the spent energy which is coming out. So we eat, or for example, in fact, it is through three systems. It is through three ways that you get prana for us. One is the food that we eat, annam. The second is the water that we drink. And third is the air. Like air is the vehicle of prana, water is also the vehicle of prana. Food is also the vehicle of prana. They are all the vehicle of prana. They take us. In fact, there are Sanskrit words, there are Sanskrit hymns for that. Oh, apo va idagam sarvam. The water is everything. Apo vai pranaha. So, annamayam pranaha. So, these are all the Sanskrit words which says how food and water are the carriers of prana. That is why impure water, they say, please don't take impure water. Impure water cannot give you 100% prana. And food must also be very pure. In fact, the latest problem is the problem of environmental pollution, which is bringing down. And that has been discussed at long now. Now, after the pandemic came, we are now in a different dimension. We are looking at the prana in a different dimension. Earlier, we were looking at warming coming up, the global warming and all that. Now, after a long time in India, we are having, I don't know about countries like yours. In India, we are finding that the air pollution has dropped down in 2 months very, very much. Waters are all very clean because there is less of traffic outside, etc. So, food, water, and air are the carriers of prana, and we take the prana in through water, for example. The moment we take the prana in through water, after it does its job, it is removed through urination. And urination is considered as an impure, it goes away. In the same way, exhalation takes out the impure portion of it. In fact, in foodstuff also we know, we pass out through the stools. Now, this pranayama has got 3 components. One is exhalation, another is inhalation, another is hold. Which one is first, which one is second? There is actually, when you inhale only, you can exhale. Only when you exhale, you can inhale. And in between, you can hold. But actually, the hold has got one more component, which we will know. After inhalation also, you can hold. After exhalation also, you can hold. That possibility is there. And when you do pranayama only, that possibility comes. Supposing I am asking you to say, hold the breath for a minute, hold the breath for a few seconds, hold the breath for about 5 seconds. Then you will be holding, just holding like this. It happens when we are excited, isn't it? When we see something, we hold the breath. At that time, it is neither, I don't know whether I have done it after inhale or after exhale. But when you are doing pranayama, a conscious breathing, at that time, you consciously can hold, and that holding can happen after inhale, after exhale. After inhale, it is called antakumbhaka in Sanskrit. After exhale, it is called bahya kumbhaka. And every one of the components of breathing have got a large amount of effect. In pranayama, the effects comes through the strength of your inhale, the strength of your exhale, the strength of your hold. When we say strength, it is just power. It is in terms of the length of the breath. Both are there. Subtlety. So this is the idea of, first we finish definition of pranayama. Then we have finished the components. So pranayama consists of conscious breathing. When the unconscious pattern of breathing is made into conscious pattern of breathing, and we have become conscious now. What do? You can inhale. You can hold at your will. You can exhale. You can hold. Does it mean that I can do it at my will for any length of time? No. That is where the catch is. The length of time of your inhalation, hold, exhalation, hold is governed by a lot of factors. One of the most important factor is your physical stamina. Physical position, and your mind. When you are excited, however strong you may be, you won't be able to make the conscious pattern of breathing. In fact, that is called as an antaraya in Yoga Sutra. When I am disturbed mentally, which is called vikshepa, what happens? I have suffering. What is happening in pandemic situation now? There is a suffering. Every one of us are undergoing a suffering in some way, and that is seen in more than one way. I express it as a suffering, one, dukkha. And now, I don't know when this pandemic is going to come down. We get negative feelings also. What is going to happen? Daurmana in Sanskrit. Then Angamadayatva. I find when I do my postures and all, I'm not able to hold on to the postures. Even if I am able to sit down for a few minutes, I am not able to hold on. At the level of the body, there is shake. Finally, Swasa Praswasa. The breath becomes, I'm not able to hold the breath. So this Swasa Praswasa is an indication that I am excited. There is some suffering. So to make that Swasa Praswasa into a pattern of breathing of Dirgha and Sukshma is the job of Pranayama. So we saw the four components, actually three, but made into four. Inhale, hold, exhale, and hold. How much of inhalation should I make? How much of exhalation should I make? How much hold? It depends on the situation, context, individual requirements, their ability. Now, before we go to the next part, yes, we are breathing. And what is the great fun in talking about breathing? And every one of us, do we learn breathing? It is an activity, it is nature's gift. What is there for me to learn about it? Where is the point of learning coming? Are we learning to walk? Are we learning to run? Maybe we learn to drive a car. That is different. So, in the case of pranayama, when I want to extend my breath, I can try it, but most of the time, I will not be very successful. And that is where the correct technique of breathing is the starting point. And to make it more simpler, there are texts which talks about it. And interestingly, the first lesson in pranayama is the correct technique of breathing. The first lesson in pranayama. In fact, we don't have to talk about this for 20 minutes to someone who wants to learn pranayama. Ask the person to lie down, then we start. Because if you start talking like this, the person will go away. So we have to only ask the person to do the technique of breathing. We teach them the technique of breathing. And interestingly, when we start teaching the technique of breathing, you will be surprised to see that it is most of the time in my experience over years, I have found that it is the doctors who tell me, Sridhar, I am a doctor, I understand that the diaphragm descends, I understand the diaphragm goes up, but I am not able to make anything. Why? Because the mind is interfering. If I am going to talk to a non-doctor person, maybe not a very literate person, that person who is doing some other job, manual job, the person is able to immediately understand and start taking into the breathing pattern. So it is the mind which interferes also. Now, the correct technique of breathing involves the apparatus of breathing, which is the chest. The chest, at the level of the chest itself, we have got the diaphragm, and above the diaphragm, the diaphragm is attached to the rib cage, and in the rib cage you have got a very soft tissue, and the air goes in, and it goes into the place called the lungs. And when it goes in, the diaphragm, which is one of the special muscles, moves up and down like this. Now, this is happening involuntarily on its own. The moment you want to make it conscious breathing, the sloka in Bhagavad Gita, which talks about it, says, Apane juhvati pranam, prane apanam tatapare, prana apana gati ruddhaha, pranayama parayanaha. This is coming from the 4th chapter. Verse number is about 24 or 25. 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Now, there is this prana is in our system in various places, and that prana which is in the that prana, the part of that which is around the navel, that part is called as apana region. Air itself goes only up to the chest up to the diaphragm. But the moment it is converted into prana, it extensively travels all over the body. Like the moment the air enters into the lung, the blood enters into the lungs through the capillaries and it goes nearer, there is an exchange of gas, and then the good blood starts coming in, it goes into the heart and it starts pumping and goes out to the parts of the body. Similarly, you take the prana in and then the air in, breath in, inhalation, and immediately it gets converted into prana and it starts traveling all over the body and starts doing its work. So where it is done the work and it gets collected, that place is called as apana. You can just feel it around the navel. Just below the navel is called apana region. Now, in that region, it is as if you are throwing the air from chest towards the abdomen. It is not literal. It is as if. When you are throwing the air from the chest to abdomen, it is called inhalation. When you are throwing the air from abdomen to chest and coming out, it is exhalation. And in both the ways, when you are stopping, it is hold. So there should be a proper movement from chest to abdomen, abdomen to chest, and going out. Now, what can we do about it? Is there a way of technique? Yes. The way of technique is, even though the muscles of the abdomen are not directly involved, they are largely involved, indirectly involved, because as the diaphragm is pushing them up and down, it goes up and down, there is some movement at the level of the large amount of movement at the level of around the navel and that part of the abdomen. You just see a child, a newborn baby, a very young baby, put on the floor, and as it is sleeping, you can see a pattern of breathing happening and the movement of the tummy. So when there is an inhalation, there is an upward movement of the navel, slightly comes up, and then exhalation, it goes down. And more, when the breath is quiet, mind is quiet, this can be seen. So the first lesson that we talk about and we give anywhere, even if you are a teacher, you would be doing that. And for those of us who are new or who may like to know, can we do a practical? Yes. My suggestion is take your right hand, take your middle finger, keep erect, sit down in your place, let the back be erect, keep your middle finger, right side middle finger on the navel, feel the navel. Feel the navel, and if you keep quiet for a few seconds, you can see some small movements even there. Actually, the movement of the diaphragm, which is just above, extend to that position. The diaphragm is attached to the rib cage, and if the diaphragm is extended fully, it will come up to the navel. We don't reach that at all unless you are a practitioner of pranayama for a long time. Now just keep a finger on the navel. Breathe in. Now voluntarily breathe in. Take the air through your nostrils. Keep the mouth shut and throw the air. Throwing the air would be a bit difficult because breathing in looks like automatic. So when you want to throw the air out, you can just throw it through the nostril. Maybe it will be very little. So want to make it more, you will slowly contract the navel muscles. Now, the middle finger slowly goes back. You are not pushing it. So exhale, contract the abdomen. Start slowly contracting the abdomen. Start and exhale. And as you start contracting the abdomen, the diaphragm goes up and there will be more of air that will go out. Because more air has gone out, there will be a lot of space and you will get a good inhalation. The first technique of breathing is by doing the exhalation, contracting the abdomen around the navel and taking it towards the back as much as possible is good exhalation. Then making the inhale, you have to control. The inhale will become automatic. It will become very fast. Control the inhale and take it more and more so that the diaphragm descends. This is the first lesson that we learned, for which I also gave you the textual reference. Then before I throw out the field for questions, another 5 minutes. What are all the various types of breathing that we are talking about? There are three types of breathing: inhalation, exhalation, hold, or inhale, hold, exhale, hold. And I gave you the technique also. This is further developed. It's not easy. It's very difficult, particularly for people who are not used to breathing. More often, we ask people to even say words like ma, ra, oo, like that. So when we say oo, ma, then at that time we will ask them to contract the abdomen. That recitation, saying aloud of oo, ma, acts as an exhalation, act of exhalation. At the end, we will say, now slowly inhale. This is the first lesson. And then they will start learning it and they will go. Now, some often asanas help a lot. Often asanas practice of physical postures. Now, there are a few places in the human system, even though we breathe in through the nostril, we can breathe through the mouth also. But in yoga, breathing or inhaling through the mouth alone is permitted in a pranayama called Shitali. Exhale through the mouth is prohibited. Now even science have started finding out that exhalation through the mouth is considered bad. Very recently some articles have come. So the breathing is at the level of the nostril, and there are two nostrils, and you can play around with these two nostrils and making a pattern out of it. Now, the places where you can focus for breathing is, first I told you, navel. The next could be the chest. So you can keep one palm in the navel, one palm in the chest, breathe in, breathe out, how the pattern is. Now, the next is throat. Throat is the area where you can make a focus. And when you are going to make the focus on into the throat, leaving the system to go on its own, the pattern of breathing of exhale, inhale, you will hear even a sound here. This is the second lesson. The second lesson is to make the person create this sound. And this is called Ujjayi in terms of pranayama. In today's context, this pranayama helps a lot because the first place where the virus affects is this place. Ujjayi means that which removes all the impurities from the system, or particularly the chest, make the chest pure, and it wins over the throat area, Jaya. So I want to finish with a small, very, very small practice. Keep the three fingers, just don't press, keep your chin down, back erect, and your left hand can be on your navel, because I want you to exhale, contract the abdomen. Inhale, release the abdomen. For that, you will remind as a reminder. Can we do about 6 breaths of inhale, exhale? Start with an exhale, contract the abdomen. Because you have got your right hand, 3 fingers here, you may get a sound. Inhale, pause, give a pause. Second time, exhale. Pause. Inhale. Pause. Now exhale. Feel the sound. Make the movement in the abdomen. Give a pause. Now slowly release the abdomen. Inhale. Pause. Fourth time. Exhale. Make it a bit more longer. Pause. Inhale. Pass. Fifth time. Exhale. Try whether you can make it a bit more longer. Give a pass. Inhale. Give a pass. Last breath. Exhale. Pass. Now inhale. Thank you. We did 6 breaths of Ujjayi. Now I have talked to you about what is pranayama. I gave a definition. I talked about the immunity portion of the prana, what is the role, and I gave you the technique of breathing, and I also gave you one pranayama, which is Ujjayi. In fact, most of the time, when people would like to know whether you have a problem, I saw one of the video clippings by a doctor. He says, inhale and hold the breath for 10 seconds, 10 counts, 1 to 10. And if you're very comfortable, you can be a bit assured that you are not immediately affected now. So with this, I'm leaving the floor open for questions. We will take up questions for about 5 minutes.
So if anybody's got a question, you can self-unmute yourself for the purposes of the question. And so please, Angela, did you have a question?
I do, thank you. Thank you for that. I was wondering, what is the benefit of the hold between the inhalation and the exhalation, please?
So the question was, what is the benefit of the hold between the inhalation and the exhalation?
Thank you.
Yes, I have unmuted. A good question. Just to simply understand that a hold is an extension of the previous activity. What benefit you get in inhale, you get it more stronger in inhale hold. What benefit you get in exhalation, you get in the hold. Okay, then you will ask the question, you have not told me what benefit you get in inhale and exhale. Yes, exhalation helps in throwing out the impurities from the system. Every exhalation is an act through which you throw out the impurities. The hold will help in not getting it back. Now, every inhalation has the effect of taking more prana inside, so a hold will make and retain the prana into the system. Presently, we will understand in that simple term. There are some more complicated ideas about fire, etc. We will leave it for some other time.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I hope you understood that.
Thank you.
Okay.
So another question that's just come in is that, should we produce a sound or be silent during pranayama?
Oh, the sound that I am talking about is very special. There are only 2 pranayamas in which the sound is an important matter. One is Ujjayi, another is called Brahmari. That's a special sound is being created like a bee. In fact, it says like a bee. These are the 2 where you get a pattern of sound. In other pranayamas, particularly the pranayama which is the peak called as Nadi Shodhana, Nadi Shuddhi, there is no sound. Even in Shitali, one of the pranayamas, no sound. In other, there is no sound. Even here, the sound is actually not made by me, by us. It is actually happening in the system. There is a constriction in our throat through which it is coming up. In fact, that comes only when you are going to keep your chin down as much as possible. And you focus there. The moment you take your hand and put it in your nostril like this sound will not be there, because my focus has gone into the nostril. It is coming through the same. The air is coming through the same way. But the moment it goes here, the sound will not be there. There is another pranayama called Shitali, where I'm inhaling through the tongue. There also you won't get a sound. In the case of this particular pranayama, it is like a resonance that you get, and it is just putting the mind. That is why I said put the mind into the throat. That's all.
Right.
When breathing in, do we visualize breath coming in from top of the head and coming from the root or space of the... Yeah, this visualization is possible, and it also can be recommended, but it should not confuse people. It comes a bit later. So um, we say, instead of saying from the head and right from the base of spine and all that, we will say chest and abdomen. But it can be, in fact, you can go even up to this, because after all, the air is start coming in from here. So you can even visualize from this place right up to the base. The base is because the diaphragm does not go up to base, because you want to contract up to that. And when you are going to do, you are going to also involve some bandhas, which are the most important in pranayama. At that time, they are more useful. In fact, we will be focusing on below the navel for a particular lock, bandha, called as Moola Bandha. We will also look at another visualization, another part known near the diaphragm, Udhiyana Bandha. Another is involving the throat. At that time, we will keep it down. There we are involving the throat region. Finally, when you are going to inhale and hold the breath, the prana has gone in. There are techniques of sending the prana to various parts of the body also. There, after I hold, I will visualize some parts of the body. The prana is supposed to travel. There are also the idea of chakras. I can even visualize the chakras where the nadis are crisscrossing, particularly the 3 special nadis. So it is possible to visualize. We'll go to the next. Okay, 1 minute quickly. Shaking hands. What would be ideal pranayama? One minute. Okay. Then Anita, 2 questions, please. In Nadi Shuddhi, do you also have a restriction of throat? No. In Nadi Shuddhi, there is no throat restriction. That is Ujjayi. In our school, that is especially the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandira, we have got, our teachers have given us, in India there is a bit large amount of difference between one school and other. We don't call this Nadi Shuddhi, we call it Anuloma Ujjayi, Viloma Ujjayi, Pratiloma Ujjayi. So the idea of nostril control and throat control, they will be altered. At the same time, we cannot have nostril control and throat control at the same time. On inhale, I can have nostril control. On exhale, I will have both the nostrils open and I will have a throat control. So I can have an altercation between throat and depending on inhale, exhale, that is special to us. In the north of India, they call Anulom, Vilom, they are all a bit different. So if you are doing Nadi Shuddhi separately, there is no throat control. If you are doing Ujjayi, yes, it is there. What is the best pranayama for meditation? And mudra, go with it. As far as yoga is concerned, when the moment you talk about mudra in pranayama, it is Hatha Yoga Pratipika, which talks about Mahamudra, which is like a particular way of seated position. That is the mudra, ideal, I would say. In pranayama, for meditation, strong recommendations by text and teachers are Nadi Shodhana, Nadi Shuddhi. And what would be an ideal pranayama for Parkinson's? Yes, shaking hands. We have been dealing with this. There is no particular pranayama which is literally working. It depends on the individual. But I would say that the exhalation, in fact, the pattern of breathing that Engela asked me in the beginning about hold, and when we are working on the inhale, it gives a particular result. When we work on the exhale, it gives a particular result. So first, in the Parkinson's, we try to work and make the breath deeper and longer, because it is something to do with the nervous system. And the moment you make it deep and long, that itself will immediately start working. So you don't have to worry about whether a particular pranayama is required. Most of the time they may be having some shake in the hand and all that. They may not be even able to hold their hand. So the best is to make them the breath deeper, longer, smooth. Could you explain the role of bandhas? Yes, I told you the bandhas are the three. They are called the locks. They are one below the navel, one just above the navel, one in the throat. The bandhas help in making the activity of the fire which is in the system to burn the impurities. The impurities are in the apana position. The fire is just above the navel. We turn the fire to below the navel and make through the breathing pattern of inhale, exhale, hold, we make the fire to go towards the apana and burn the impurities, throw it out. In that burning process, bandhas helps a lot in making it more stronger. Do you recommend counting in the path? Yes, both in inhale, both in path, both in exhale, counting. And this counting is called as, in the same sutra, Bahya, Abhyantara, Stamba, Vritti. That is the components of breathing. Desha, parts of the body. I already told you. Kala means time. How much should be my inhalation? Second, how much should be my exhalation? In fact, that is important. That makes the mind get involved into that. How many breaths that I should? Sankhya. 10 breaths, 12 breaths, one inhale and one exhale. Make one breath. One inhale, hold, exhale, hold, make one breath. So yes, counting is, but more often what happens in counting, we may have to use some metronome or something, otherwise we will count very fast. We use metronomes also. A lot of people say, no, metronome is not helpful. It is distraction. So we will say, please count on your own. And the next stage in the counting is making the mantras as the count. So we have mantras which will be included. But in making the mantras, we mentally recite mantras. And those mantras, ideally, the teacher will tell you, this is good mantras. You can use it in the breathing. So the mantra will have a particular length and that will become the count. Is it important to have longer exhalation than inhalation? Best question, Michael. I think yes. Longer exhalation is considered initially largely most important. In fact, we make everyone to make exhalation longer because it makes the mind calm. And the sutra which goes says, Prachardana Vidaranabhyam va Pranasya. The explanation by our teacher, both the teachers, Deshkacharya and Krishnamacharya, says that when the exhalation is made more and more longer, and hold is also there, the antarayas, which is in the form of mental disturbances, they come down. We initially teach exhale and longer exhale, but it cannot be there for long. After some time, there will be an emphasis on inhale. When I want to work on the chest, inhale. When I want to work on the abdomen, exhale. But first, to give importance to exhalation if you are a teacher and a student. I have been advised to practice pranayama after asana practice, but after my asana practice, I feel too energetic to sit still. So I prefer doing my pranayama first. Is that okay? According to both the textual references and according to our own way, it is the asana that helps you to make the pranayama. So you must revisit your asana practice. For example, if you are doing a lot of vinyasa kramas and immediately after the vinyasa krama, you will not be able to sit. So we would suggest that you do some postures, vinyasa kramas as warm up, and then do some postures in which you stay and do the breathing. That will help you. If you stay on a forward bending posture like Adhastasana, we call Uttanasana, it will make the exhalation longer. So I would suggest, I strongly recommend that do pranayama after your asana, but make the asana in a way. And another thing which I would like to tell you here, thanks for this, Sandra. And what we do in Kevayam, which is special, is we combine breathing and movements. And that way it works. If you are not combining breathing and movement, but you are going on doing some of the vinyasa kramas with jump and all that, or you just stay, just counting numbers or stay, doing normal breath, it may affect. But the more you start making breath and movement and conscious breathing, then it will help you in your pranayama. Is there a particular sequence that you recommend for pranayama practice? No particular sequence, but generally, if you are fit, I suggest that you can, on a day when you have some blocks, you can do Kapalabhati. And most of us are affected by some digestive system problems. Then you can do Shitali. But in the present day context, Ujjayi is very helpful. Those who are doing singing, talking, Ujjayi is helpful. And finally, you can do the Nadi Shuddhi. Either Nadi Shuddhi because it graduates you, it takes you to the next activity of Dhyana. In yoga practice, should we play music during prayer? How is it done in India? Anita, I mean calm music rather than anything. It is individual, highly subjective and individual. I myself find some days music is a disturbance, some days some musics appear to be working well. Because let us understand that our mind is not the same. It's a monkey. It works in different ways on different days. So some days it is so much wandering. I'm not able to get it. So some music may make it stay there, but it need not necessarily, because it will form a pattern. So you can play around. We have a lot of music now in the YouTube and all, so talking about how to do that. But in pranayama, the thing is, the moment you start playing a music, then where would you like to cut it? Because the music generally is very long. So if it is going to be a Vedic chanting, you can have pattern of Vedic chanting where after a mantra there will be a break. So that you will have to be a bit careful. It is up to you. It is individualized. In India, yes, there are some, but in Kevayam, in Krishnamacharya Yoga Mantra, we don't play music and all that. We don't do anything. What's important of micro exercises between? Yeah, we don't do that micro exercises. In our school, in our thing, is sitting still a better alternative? Yes. Kaya Thairyam, Chitta Thairyam. Sitting still for a moment will make even the breathing pattern better and make the mind better. So you can get, if you are very flexible, you put Padmasana and sit. Micro exercises, we don't do that. And are there any important points we should be vigilant? Yes. My namesake. So the important points one have to be vigilant is holding the breath after inhalation. You have to be vigilant. See, when you are extending your inhale or exhale, when you are extending the inhale or exhale, if you have done more than what your capacity is, the next breath will get cut. If you are holding the breath after inhale, if you are not ready, it can create some issues, particularly people who are aged, having some issues of heart and all that. Inhale hold is to be gradually developed. Exhale hold, no problem. The moment you start doing the whole longer exhale after hold, automatically you may even inhale. Okay, sorry, last question during the feel go numb. Is it okay to fridge and change? Yes, yes, very much. If you're feeling numb, naturally you will have to, because at the cost of numbness, if you are going to continue with pain or numbness, our mind will be distracted. So you may even have a break and go. The more and more you start building over a period of time, the time that we are able to sit will get extended. Thank you so much. Ram, it looks like that we are going to stop here.
It's been a lovely exercise. Thank you very much. There's been so much that we've learned. I realize that this is just an introductory talk. You have so many years of experience that you could do this Sunday talk for quite a few years, and you won't be repeating things, I'm sure. So we are very much grateful to you. Thank you so much for sparing your time.
Thank you, sir. With your permission, I close by doing one more chant.
Right.
And for the welfare of everyone, we will do a chanting. And then you can just end the meeting yourself, sir. And when I say Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. This chanting is asking for health, particularly from Vayu, and it calls the wind, the power of the wind as a divinity. And pranayama requires the power of wind. Om Shanno Mitrasham Varunah Shanno Bhavat Varyama Shanna Indro Brihaspatihi Shanno Vishnurukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma vadishyami, Ritam vadishyami, Satyam vadishyami, Tamam avatu, Tad Vaktaram avatu, Avatu Mam, Avatu Vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let there be peace everywhere. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much indeed, Sridharanji. Lovely to see you. May God bless you, and thank you very much for your time. And it's been lovely to see you again. Great feedback coming back through the chat line. Everybody's so very pleased to have spent this afternoon with you. Thank you very much indeed. And we look forward to seeing you again soon and on another occasion at the World Yoga Festival.
Welcome.
Sure. Thank you very much indeed. All right, Swamiji. All right. Good night. Good night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.